are such an asshole.
We have a request, and if you have a request, you can go to the all-seeing, all-knowing, all-guessing, better than AI, at least on a Tuesday, assholeconsulting.com, where I, America's older brother, and the world's only professional asshole, will answer your questions, even though you might be a Canadian like this guy. Hey, asshole, longtime viewer here. I want to run a philosophical question by you that I think would be pertinent to a lot of men in your audience and women. There are productive women, given that they are, would assume, mostly productive tax-paying men. I recently got out of the military, Canada's military is quite woke, and I saw the writing on the wall. I live in Canada, and for the past years I was employed there. I'm going to keep you somewhat anonymous. I must have paid $100,000 in taxes, I would say. And so I've made the decision that until I begin school in September, that I'm going on unemployment and will work as little as possible to make the most of my tax money back. That's how I see it philosophically. I will say, not only do you see it philosophically, that's what it is, not only mathematically, but accountingly, if that's a word. Did they take your money? All right. Now, let's be honest. You're talking the difference between a public good and a private good, which, if you really want to get boring about it, a public good, my consumption of it cannot preclude your consumption of it, right? If I go to a national park, that doesn't preclude you from going to the national park, right? We all benefit from the forestry department cutting down the trees and, making sure that fires don't spread. Me being protected by the U.S. military does not preclude you being protected by the U.S. military. Right. Then there's like a gray area, like, okay, what about highways? Well, yeah, my use of the highway doesn't preclude you from doing it unless you get a traffic jam because you're using up that little bit of the highway at that moment in time and you're moving. So it gets in a little gray area there. But a private good, like I have an apple, I eat the apple. You can't eat the apple. My consumption of it denies you, because it's gone, from eating it. Right. So, the governments do provide public services that everyone benefits from. Roads, legal system, military. So I would, if you wanted to be philosophically accurate about it, what you'd want to do is back out the taxes you paid that you benefited from, like you paid something and got something for it, military, roads, whatever. And then everything else, especially in Canada, is basically people stealing your money. But we voted for it. I don't care if it's democratic. You vote to steal my money. That is your life. That is your time. That is the only resource you or anybody else on this planet has ever had, and they took it. Ethically, morally, philosophically, mathematically, accountingly, yes, you have every right to take it. Absolutely. This is where I'm kind of not undecided, but where it's the here in the United States, the VA, if you get disability, you get some pretty generous checks. Now it depends. I mean, you've got fucked up, like, yeah, by all means. But then I even have friends like, oh yeah, I get this much in disability. I'm like, how? Oh, my elbow hurts. I'm being facetious, but yeah, it's like, really? You get that much because your elbow's a little off? I'm kind of like, that's kind of welfare-y. I'm not saying you shouldn't get nothing, but not no $4,000 a month. Anyway, but yes, from any logical, ethical, they took your time. You have the right to get it back. Now, overall, this is going to, you're not going to work and not produce GDP. Inflation is going to go up. But no, and especially since the vast majority of people collecting welfare, whether it's Canada or not, didn't earn a damn lick of it anyway, right? I understand the Social Security argument. I paid into this system. Like, yeah, you did. So, I could see that. I spat out 8 kids and then went on welfare and had everybody else pay for me. And I hate this country. Fuck you. The native population, the actual Canadians, the productive Canadians, productive people anywhere, do themselves know, so I have moral and take the fucking money. Even what's her name, Anne Rand, like they were giving her shit for collecting Social Security. Like, what are you kidding me? I paid into the system. Not only that, but a lot more, because high income earner. But she even had a simpler one like, this benefits me financially. You're the ones that made these rules. And that's another thing. Look, Canada rewards parasites. Go be a parasite. You did. And I've said this for years. Did you vote against these rules? Did you vote for a moral, ethical system? Did you vote for a meritocratic system? Did you vote against the welfare state? You voted for Harper or whoever the other guy that ran against Mr. Bean, your current premier. I forget his name. Did you vote for it? All right, you tried. But if these are the rules, democracy, we're going to play by these rules. All right, I'll play by these rules, and you play to win. I wouldn't go so far as to become like these fucking dregs that go out of their way to collect every freaking, scam, and just like, dude, I have other shit going on in life. But yeah, you want to collect unemployment or, well, my goodness, I doth do declare I have a touch of the tisms and I do need my disability check. Absolutely. Go get your fanning couch. Me personally, I would do a little bit of math. Like, okay, what's the budget been the past 4 years? Okay. 75% of my dollars went to bullshit. So maybe not 100,000, but $75,000 you get back. Okay, now I got my money back. Now I'll work. I've made a decision until that's how I see it philosophically. But I was wondering your take on this. In my view, I paid 100,000 in taxes the least past several years. I paid for the retirement of boomers who were too stupid to pay for their own retirement. I paid in other people's unemployment, including those who have not paid any taxes or contributed to the system at all. I paid 25 to 35,000 in income tax just last year, plus sales tax, and it's all for things I don't care about and don't want. Foreign aid, free money for immigrants, government embezzlements of all kind of stuff. So in my view, there's nothing immoral, lazy about me getting my tax money back. Nope. Matter of fact, every conservative in all the nations of the world should go like, nah, I'm collecting something now. Let's go buy your silver and gold. Go get a lot of guns. Go buy a lot of land. All right. Stock up some food and say, nope, well, I doth do declare, because you're Canada. See the joke? It's funny because it took a Southerner, a Confederate type of person in antebellum South, and I combined it with a Canadian. It's ridiculous. It's so funny. Everyone, well, I do declare I have a touch of the tisms. Give me my money, Beauregard, hey. The amount of money you get would be at most 10% of the taxes I paid in for the last several years. So I was curious, what do you think about this? Do you think that anybody on unemployment is lazy? No, of course not. I mean, if you can believe it, at one time when we had morality and ethics before the boomers showed up, you'd be ashamed to be on unemployment. You'd be ashamed to, like, I better get back on. I better be a contributing member. You have morality in both of our countries. But it wasn't, no, hey, times are tough, or, yeah, we get it. The factory shut down. Here's some unemployment. So not everybody is lazy. And to this day, there are people who take it, but then move on and, they do want to get a job. Both Democrats and Republicans, or whatever the three weird parties you got up there is, because you got like making things confusing. But yeah, it's not, it's people who abuse it. And for every conservative, libertarian, or I gotta check that. For every contributing member of society who paid, say, your $100,000 in, yeah, I haven't looked at the Canadian budget, but I'm going to say, yeah, around 75% of it was pissed away, giving it away to other people. So you have every moral right to collect welfare. I mean, here you have a native, a Canadian citizen asks, can I collect unemployment? No, give it to the immigrants. Give it to people who aren't Canadian. It's the most Canadian thing ever. Do you want Minnesota? Like, we'll just give you Minnesota. They really hate themselves. Hey, look, another group of white people that hate themselves. Come on, go. There's this place called Canada. It's your people. Go up there. Oh, yeah, don't you know? You're new here, eh? Yeah. Is this where I get the thing shoved in my ass? I'm from Minnesota, don't you know? Yeah, we noticed. You crossed the border. You started spreading your ass cheeks. We noticed. Here, work this really hard job and pay for other people. Oh, I'm really good at that. Yeah, I'm from Minnesota. We care about everyone. Yeah. Or do you think that there could be a caveat to this where if you've paid into a system for multiple years, tens of thousands of dollars in taxes, you're entitled to go on unemployment to get some of your tax money back from a moral perspective? 100% moral, absolutely. And if we were to be precise about it, the second you collect a penny more, although didn't you guys get rid of your pennies? The second you collect a penny more, well, yeah, then okay, technically, and how good do you want your math? I mean, I'm ballparking 75%, right? Plus or minus a couple grand. All right, fine. But yeah, absolutely. Look, Cappy, they say I can use both hands to bat in baseball, but in the olden days, we only used one. Should I use both hands? Yeah, absolutely. Did they vote the rules? Did everyone vote the rules to use two hands? Go use two hands. All right, there we go. Got a couple super chats. Cyberbully, $5. It'd be interesting to add up the maximum possible dollar amount of welfare someone could get in the U.S. I bet a welfare queen could clear. Yeah, they did have that. Like back in the 80s, they talk about welfare queens, and they did like get busted having like caddies and Ferraris. Well, maybe not Ferraris, but and then it really depends on the state or up north in the province, and even the city. I mean, you go. The city spends money on a food shelf. That's welfare. You get what the terrorist in New York, the mayor, I forget his name. We're going to have municipal grocery stores. That's welfare. Section 8 housing, welfare, although that's a federal program. How long do these programs last? Long ago, when I wrote the book Enjoy the Decline, which is linked below, I even went into it. Now, the data is 12 years old, but there are limits to how much you can collect in federal welfare. Some of the limits, some are not limited. So it really depends. But then there's like a lot of state programs too. And then what about USAID, welfare jobs programs? Are those, they're welfare. You don't produce anything. We're paying you to feel good about yourself. So it could be a lot. It could be a lot, but definitely over six figures. Tiberius Rex, 10 generous dollars. TFM said it best. If you can get access to welfare, take advantage of it. Just don't become dependent on it. Once you become dependent, you're practically a slave to it. Yep. Yeah. If in terms of the morality question, do it. Absolutely do it. The money, it's high time Canadians actually get some of their welfare money. Whoa. All right. That's it. Questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. Enjoy the Decline. My book is linked below, written 12 years ago. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.